time I know like what to do in order to get this mission this time.
What is up, combat sports fans? I am being joined by a very special guest. And it's always fun to have female grapplers on the podcast, specifically because I know my audience is very jiu-jitsu nerd based. So we have Jessa Khan here, who's going to be competing for the inaugural submission grappling championship for one at the end of September. So September 29th is going to be the day where you're back in action. But before we dive into that, I want to get into your backstory of how you first started with jiu-jitsu. I know you had a time period where you were in Hawaii and then you might have started training there, but when did it all start for you?
Okay, so I was born in Texas, and then my dad, he's in the Navy, so he was in the Navy for about 20 years. So every couple years we'd move. So we ended up moving to California, and as a kid I was just always very active. I was always doing like all these sports. The first martial art I started was actually karate. I started that in California, and then after a couple years of living there, we moved to Hawaii, and that's when I started training jiu-jitsu. Initially, I was going to start training karate again, but we just couldn't find like a gym that fit right for me. So then we thought to try a different sport. My dad heard of jiu-jitsu just from like watching UFC and all that. So then, yeah, we just gave it a shot, and then ever since that first day, I just loved it and like stuck with it.
I love it. And having that background of having to move around is probably so much growing up. Like you're always changing schools, but then now you're also changing jujitsu schools as well. And I listened to a podcast that you did when you were even more of a baby in 2019. And you talked about how one of the places that you stopped was in Virginia. Virginia is my hometown. Whenever I go over to train, it's Ryan Hall's gym, 50/50. But I think you were in a different part of Virginia. So can you tell me about the experience you had in Virginia and some of the things that you still use from that gym in your game today, unless everything has just completely evolved and nothing from that gym is something that you use?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like I've moved around a lot. I've especially been to like a bunch of different gyms throughout the years. I feel like I just kind of picked up like a little bit of everything throughout all those gyms, and like that's kind of like how I formed my game. So yeah, even now I feel like I still do certain stuff that like my old school showed me, and like I said, I just keep getting better at it, so my whole game gets better.
And what was it about Art of Jiu-Jitsu that you were like, okay, this has to be my home gym and this will take my game to the next level?
I've been watching Professor Gee, Professor Hoffa like throughout the years. I always thought that there are people that I strive to be, you know, young athletes that were black belt world champions that were very young. And then whenever I seen that they opened a jiu-jitsu school, especially in California, I already loved living there. I always wanted to move back. Um, Prior to AOJ opening up, there was actually another jiu-jitsu school that was also doing really well. That was also in California. So I was already planning on going back to California, but once I heard that AOJ was opening up by the Menace Brothers, I was like, I have to go there because like right now I'm good, but like I know if I go there, I can get even better.
And at what point of your career did you say, okay, I really want to focus in on jujitsu? Going to school every day is going to be kind of a problem because that's, taking up time that you could be training at certain jujitsu classes. So at what point did you think it was a better idea to go the homeschool route so you could focus more on your jujitsu career?
Yeah, so I actually started being homeschooled whenever I was entering high school. So, um, for jiu-jitsu, in order to get like your adult belts, like blue belts and stuff, uh, you have to be like the year you're turning 16. So like juvenile one, that's what they call it. So whenever I knew that that time was coming up, that's when I pretty much decided like, oh, this is like you do like 2 years of juvenile at like 16, 17 years old, and then you start doing like, you turn 18, you're adult now, and then you do purple, brown, and black. So I was like, I feel like the next 4 years are the most important for my career because they're helping me build like my adult stage instead of just like the kid stage that I was in. So I was like, I feel like I really need to dedicate more time now.
Yeah, I mean, definitely making that call is something that would be so scary to make at that point of your life. Were you getting like a lot of support from your parents that wanted you to go in that direction, or was it, something that kind of you had to really convince them for?
No, I mean, I guess it's different because they already seen that I was having some success throughout like the colored belts whenever I was younger. So I guess like that already gave them like some like reassurance that I would still do well if I were to like dedicate more time to jiu-jitsu and like start being homeschooled and stuff. So they kind of already like understood and supported me from like the beginning.
I love that. And when you look at your day to day schedule, again, just going from the podcast that I listened to, it's pretty intense of a workout regimen that you have. I don't know if this is still your schedule, but at one point it was 7 a.m. drilling, 8 a.m. comp class, 9 a.m. fundamentals, go to the teach kids, work out again 4:30, and then train at 7 p.m. So you're extra young men in your teenage years, able to be so active all the time. Are you still able to have that much training, or do you kind of figure ways to moderate the amount of training that you're doing now?
Yeah, so back in that schedule, that was from like maybe when I was a purple belt, so I didn't have as much priorities. Now, like, um, I live on my own now. Before back then, I was living with my
Congratulations.
parents, so that much. But now, like, yeah, I live on my own now, and then like I have a lot more classes. I teach jujitsu to kids. Back then, I was only just doing one class. Now, I actually teach four classes, Monday through Saturday. So then I normally do all my training in the morning. So before it was back and forth. I train in the morning, then I teach the kids, then I go back to training. But this time it's just strictly morning. That's my training sessions, and then in the evening it's just teaching jiu-jitsu to kids.
I love that balance. And would you say that teaching has really helped under your understanding of like the mechanics and stuff of jujitsu? Because I feel like if you're able to explain it to a kid, you would definitely have an understanding of those things. So would you say that teaching has become one of the biggest ways you're able to like make things stick in your brain on how you should be doing things?
Yeah, I mean, we're teaching kids jiu-jitsu, but like it's also helping us teach like just how to explain to kids, and we're learning other things that like go into it. It's not just like about teaching kids jiu-jitsu, it's like everything else that goes into it, like having to deal like with a kid, like with like their attitude or like getting their confidence up, just like little things like that add up.
And what would you say were some things that you've taken from teachers you've had in the past? What would you say that you've taken into your own teaching style, like your how you want to be perceived by the kids? Like, do you have a certain mindset that you go into when you're getting ready to teach?
I mean, my main thing is, I obviously like try to do my best. That way, like, I not only get respect from like the kids and like the students, but like also like from their parents and like just so everyone like understands. But my goal is mainly focused on like females. I always want to try to bring up either the little girls or like older women to just have more confidence in themselves and like get better at jiu-jitsu and like anything else I can help with them like off the mats.
I love that. That sounds like such a fulfilling thing to do, aside from the big goals that you have in terms of getting many more world championships. And obviously, coming up September 29th, you're going to have a big title on the line as well. How do you feel about getting this opportunity? I mean, it's the inaugural atomweight submission grappling championship title. Like, this must be a pretty special moment for you coming off of your big 2023 IBJJF title. So do you feel like you're riding momentum? Does it feel like a special time for Jessa Khan?
Yes, I mean, like you said, like I just won the biggest title of my life right now. You know, whenever people first start jiu-jitsu, whether they're older or like whether they're young kids, everyone's goal, whenever you ask anyone, is to become a IBJJF black belt world champion. And I'm just really happy that I was finally able to do that now. And like I said, I have, I'm feeling pretty good about myself, just coming off of that win. And I'm hoping to carry that momentum into this next fight with Danielle. It's also for a title shot, so I'm hoping to get like another title for myself this year.
Very, very exciting. It seems like everything is falling perfectly into play for you. And now you're just focused on your training and your teaching. I want to talk about the matchup style specifically with Danielle because you guys do have some history. You guys fought under flow grappling at one point. When you were headed into your first match against her with flow grappling, what did you see about her game, and what were the things that you were headed into that were just like, okay, I need to watch out for this aspect of her game?
Um, Honestly, like that was my first tournament for as a black belt, so although like I had experience throughout the color belts, black belt it takes it to things to like the next stage. Um, I didn't see too much back then. At least I didn't see like too much footage like of her stuff and like what to watch out for. But like I know like during the fight, I figured out some things like during the fight that she's pretty good at. Like I said in another interview, she had some good takedowns. She has like really good defense just because she's really flexible. So I guess like that's a good quality that she has. But other than
Yeah.
that, I thought it was mostly that. I don't know if you rewatched like our match that we did 2 years ago or not, but I was mainly leading the fight. I was pretty much going after like one submission after another, and that's pretty much how I won. It's just I couldn't get her to actually like submit. But during the fight, yeah, she was just having a good defense and just defending, so not really too much attacking from her side.
Yeah, she definitely said in a post fight interview, like she let you dictate the pace. She did mention she was like, she didn't actually have me close to anything though. She didn't have me close. So I know that in hindsight, you know, it's probably hard to remember how tight you had the submissions, but you had everywhere from a toe hold attempt, knee bar, arm bar, guillotine. So when you remember having those submissions, did you feel like they were pretty close and a few more adjustments, you would have gotten the submission?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like at the time like they were really like tight. Um, it's just some people like they are really flexible and that they won't tap to those things, or maybe something that I have to like adjust in my technique. I'm not sure, but this time like I kind of know like what to do in order to get this mission this time.
When you were growing up and going through the tournaments as a younger athlete, you were nicknamed Lady Armbar. Do you still identify with that nickname, or do you think that your game has evolved so much that you know you can't just be called Lady Armbar?
No, I mean, I'm I'm pretty much still considered Lady Armbar. That's all I do. I mean, I definitely evolved my game to where I do other stuff as well, but armbars have always been my main thing that I still like to do. But just no one really calls me that anymore, just because I got older. That was like a kid name.
Competing against someone like her again that you've beaten before, do you think there's a certain vengeance coming in from for this match?
I mean, it's like anything. Like even with myself, like if you lose to someone, like obviously, like you want to try to beat that person. Um, even after our fight, her post interview, she mentioned that like she already wanted to like go with me again right after that match. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure like she really wanted this fight as well as I did. I know she's training really hard for me as I'm training hard for her. I'm more so just willing to put on like a good show for everyone that's watching. It's gonna be on Amazon Prime. I haven't experienced being on Amazon Prime before, and this is like my first time, so I'm really looking forward to doing my part and putting on a good show and like showing my like good jiu-jitsu that I have, and hopefully I come out with a win and get a submission.
Yes, we all appreciate when jujitsu competitors try to put on a show as much as they can because submission grappling can sometimes be, for someone who's used to MMA, it might not be the most exciting thing because they don't understand the nuances of it. So, as an athlete, how much do you try to prioritize making it an entertainment thing versus playing playing it safe or playing positionally?
Yeah, I mean, my game it's not really like about like stalling or like playing it safe or like just go fighting at a slow pace. That's never really been my game. And there's times where I have tried to compete like that, to match someone else's energy and like go at a slower pace, but then it ended up backfiring on me, and like that's just because it's not my game. So I'm taking myself out of the comfort zone. But like I said, I'm very like explosive, aggressive. Like I always try to keep attacking. I personally like to lead the fight. It just makes it easier on myself. But and that's what I will try to do next month.
And let's talk about your gym in Orange County. I used to live in Orange County. I trained at Triumfo, but I had always heard of Art of Jiu Jitsu. Beautiful gym. I love the white, and obviously just the energy that you get from that gym has been producing some star athletes. So what is it about AOJ that really has the power and the tools needed to create these star athletes?
I mean, it definitely helps that Professor Game Professor Hoffman like they've experienced everything that we're going through now, so they kind of just give us tips about like how it was back in the day, and like they already know what to expect, so they're just trying to like give us whatever we can to succeed. I mean, their main goal is just for us to, you know, be good people and like become good at jiu-jitsu, but you wanting to become like a world champion or something, that's just like it's a bonus. And they do all that they can to like teach us our techniques, give us advice just from like what they've gone through, but like it's pretty much like at the end of the day, like it's up to you, like how much you want it and like how much work you're willing to put to accomplish your goals.
And you have a Cambodian background, I believe, as well. Um, and you have a little bit of a history with like being able to compete and represent your heritage a little bit. I know you're kind of separated from that now, but in the past, when you have been able to compete with a little bit of like country pride on your back, do you ever, kind of wish that there were more opportunities like that? And do you feel like there's an opportunity with that, with one being based in Asia?
I've been competing for Cambodia and representing them for like a couple years now, probably since like 2018. Being able to represent Cambodia, it's a big deal, and I end up getting a really big fan base in Asia just because of it. And now like I see that one is very big in Asia. I think that this fight will be good, and also me just working with one because a lot of people that are in Cambodia and just like in those other areas in Asia, they're already like they all know what one is just because like they're familiar with it, and like I'm sure they have like some athletes that are from those countries. So yeah, like I feel like I already have a lot of support from just representing Cambodia. And now I'm gonna get even more support because I'm touching like a different kind of like a different fan base. Going to Singapore, and I'm just really excited because yeah, I'm just excited to fight in Asia again.
Yes, it's definitely a huge, huge step in your career. And I know that the fan base is going to be super receiving and excited for your guys' bout. So I'm so excited for that. I do want to talk about one of the interviews that I saw from you after your IBJJF win and how just this journey as a jiu-jitsu competitor can be so hard in the times that either you go on a losing streak or you're dealing with injuries. And there was a time in your life where you were considering not competing at all.
Because, you know, after a while, after you lose, like all these negative thoughts come to your head. And at one point, I was thinking about, stop competing. I was like on the verge of actually looking at different careers. But, I told myself, like, no, I still got it. Like, there's still a chance that I can do it. And, yesterday, even just winning all three of my fights and making it to the finals today, like, that was a huge accomplishment already for me. And then to top it off by winning, like, I'm just so happy that I didn't stop. But then there's also other teammates that have ups and downs just like me, and their time will come too, just like mine did.
Could you tell me about the times that you were in your darkest moments and what you were able to get out of those moments?
Yeah, so like I said, I've been a black belt for about 3 years now. I guess my journey was a little bit different throughout all the color belts when I was a kid, and then like when I was like a young adult. I wouldn't necessarily say I had it easy, but I was able to win like very consistently, and I never faced a challenge. So I feel like that was a good thing for me. But then once going from that to the black belt where everyone you fight is really good, that was like a hard transition for me, and that's like pretty much where I struggled. And so that's I feel like that's something like maybe I had wished was a little bit different for me to face like tougher challenges earlier on. That way you know how to handle it at black belt. But now like I had to like just now figure it out like this year. So yeah, it took a while, and like like I said, like after like you're on a losing streak and you're losing like very consistently, like it just makes you think like, oh, like should you still be doing this, and like is there any point? And then because then like after someone loses, they want to just go back to the gym, train hard, and then try to win the next one. But then it's like how many times can you like continuously do that if like after every single time like you just lose? And then also like that started affecting me, and then it made me think, oh well, like training's not funny anymore because I was like I have no reason, I have like no goal to like chase after right now because like it's like not working out right now. So yeah, that's kind of like what I was thinking. Like I said, like this year I actually like wasn't going to compete, and then it's all about like your environment, like the people that you surround yourself with. I have very like-minded like family members and like all my friends and my teammates, my boyfriend. And it's kind of hard to be at AOJ because like everyone is just very hungry to like be the star or like win this competition. So you just see everyone training hard and like it just makes you feel bad because you're like, oh, like man, I wish I felt like that because like I'm just not feeling it. And so like I said, I'm just surrounding myself with those people and like they've always tried their best to encourage me, give me advice, hype me up, make me feel better, and those people are kind of like what pushed me to keep competing. And then yeah, so I was just thinking about like stopping, and then but I knew that like deep down, like if I were to stop with knowing that I didn't fully give it 100%, that I would regret it in the long run. So I think I just kind of had to like be real with myself and have like a real talk and just say like I know like if you can like actually give 100% that you can do it and that it's possible. And then I kind of took my own advice. I took everyone else's advice that was willing to help me, and then I just tried to shift my mindset with that before Worlds, and then things ended up working out. I ended up winning 4 tough fights, and yeah, I got my title.
I love that. Well, I love that you found the support to get you through those trying times, because this competitive jujitsu life, or any life of an athlete, is always so hard. So congratulations on that. I do want to talk about a few current events that happen in the jiu-jitsu world. So sorry, my pit bull just had to walk in on this interview. He's like, Jessa Khan's here. I gotta say hi. Um, so recently, Mo Jassim of ADCC had some big news. ADCC is obviously considered the Olympics of no gi, and it's something that everyone really aims for if they're trying to make a big name in the no gi scene. So what were your initial reactions when you learned that they have added a minus 55 kg division?
Someone was talking about it like maybe last year or so, whenever the ADCC went on, that they were thinking about making a new division. So I wasn't completely like surprised. I knew that eventually they would make one. I think it's a great opportunity. There's so many girls that are like my size that could really benefit fighting at this weight class than the other weight class. Also just to like give other girls opportunities too that are smaller. So I'm really happy that they finally made that decision to make a third weight class for the girls. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. It's not my main concern about doing this event. I think it would be really cool, but if it happens, it happens. But it's not really something that I've like set my eyes on doing. But I'm happy to see like
Interesting.
and support all the other girls who do it.
That's awesome. Is there any particular reason that you don't view ADCC as something that you want to compete in?
Just it's been around for like so many years, and that I've always seen like that they only had 2 divisions, so I never really had my mind set on doing it because it was already kind of engraved in my head that like they had 65 kilos and it was like 135 pounds, and like that's a lot. It's a lot of weight for me, and there's people that are cutting down. So I was like, oh, like it was never a main concern to like try to win that title, just because it seemed like very far away, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, now like I don't, I'm gonna just stick with the goals that I have in mind now, and then maybe like if that time comes around, then maybe we'll see.
Yeah, and then maybe they'll also add another division, which can go even later, but we'll see. ADCC is always a very fun time. In other recent news, they had I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, AIGA, the AIGA event that happened in Kazakhstan, where they built a powerhouse team of US to go against Team Universal and Khabib Nurmagomedov's team. And I believe your boyfriend was on that roster. So can you tell from a girlfriend perspective, watching your boyfriend get these type of big opportunities, how cool is it that you guys are both getting opportunities and are able to support each other in these big moments?
It's really good. Yeah, he just came back from that event. He fought really good. Um, he recently just got his black belt in December, so this is his first year doing competing in the black belt division. I feel like he's been doing pretty well. We've been together for a couple years now, and he's been with me through the ups and downs. So he kind of seen like the parts that I was struggling in my career. So he kind of was able to like, I guess, learn from that, like some of the mistakes like that I did, and like vice versa. You know, he's doing a really good job. I'm happy that he's like finally getting some opportunities, and that he's making a name for himself. And you know, I just hope he keeps the momentum going. Like I said, he just got back from the IEGA tournament, and then now it's my time to do a tournament. And he's also gonna be there with me to coach me, and then he's gonna have to come back here, get ready for his tournament. So we're just kind of going like back and forth right now. But I'm glad that we're both getting like opportunities.
I love that. And I think it's so cool that you guys had known each other since you were little and were even jujitsu buddies when you were like toddlers or maybe young kids. And then now you guys are together. So when you guys first were together, did you guys think you had a crush on each other when you were little, or did it just happen when you were older?
Yeah, I mean, I started training jiu-jitsu with Zach, so that's how I met him in Hawaii. We just, me and our families have always kept in contact together, and then whenever we found out in 2012 that AOJ opened up, his family just jumped on it. They moved from Hawaii to California. They've been here ever since. They never left. For me, it was a little bit different. Like I said, my dad was in the Navy, so I couldn't move there just yet. But then in 2016, my dad retired. So then we were finally able to move to California. And then I started to train there. But prior to that, prior to officially moving, I would come every summer throughout the years and stay with Zach and his family to train at AOJ. Yeah, so
I love that.
kind of went through phases of like crushes. Like back then he liked me, then I liked him, then like vice versa. And then like finally, I guess as we got older and like more mature, then like we both liked each other at the same time finally.
So cute. Honestly, what a story. I love it. So the AIGA tournament, they got together a powerhouse team for Team USA. If we could do the same thing with a female only roster, what would be the powerhouse dream team for Team USA? Obviously, starting with yourself on there.
Depends how much people. I'm honestly not sure because I feel like all the girls like that like I really like, we're all kind of like the same size and weight. So I don't know how that would work out.
Yeah, okay. So let's do another person your weight, another person 125, 135, and then 145 and a heavyweight. Do you
Okay.
know enough people for that? Okay.
I don't know if it's heavyweight. I'm trying to think. I don't know now.
I know I put you on the spot with this one, but it would be so interesting because it would be so fun to see the girls compete like as a team, you know, because you guys just go so hard versus each other. But like seeing all those athletes from AIGA like be as a team, I was like, oh, this is so neat. They need to do this for the girls though.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I would like to have my whole like AOJ female team on my team. Um, like I said, we're all pretty much the same size, so I have like a bunch of training partners, but you know, we all like train together really well, and we're all like very competitive and like have been doing good with our jiu-jitsu career. So like I feel like I would want all of them to be on my team because I feel like we'd have a good chance. But
I love
yeah, I
that.
mean that trains with me at AOJ. I'd love to have them on my team. You know, there are a couple other girls like from other schools that I like. You know, you mentioned Fiona Davies. I really like her game. She's a great competitor, great person. So, and I feel like she'd strive in like that type of like tournament. So yeah, I'd like to have her on my team.
I love that. I love that. Very good choice there. And I think that wraps up basically all of my questions that I had for you. But I did want to give you a second to, you know, either give a shout out to any training partners that have been working with you, any sponsors that you have, any coaches. The floor is yours to just, you know, give them a shout out.
Okay, thank you. I like to thank my sponsors, Suave Kimonos, and then Asa Republic and Be Active Drinks. And you know, I'd like to thank my professors, my coaches, Professor Gee, Cole Bate, Zach Kaina, and then my training partners, Mia and Ashley Finegra. And yeah, and just everyone at AOJ. You know, everyone's been a huge support, whether they're helping me get ready for this fight or whether they're just like cheering me on. You know, I'm just really grateful for everyone, for everyone's help, and I hope I can bring back the belt